girl, they're gonna get you. They're gonna kidnap you. Do you know who the cartel is? Are you out of your mind? Hey friend, it's Jazz. I get the same question over and over again, which is, why did you choose to move to Mérida? Cause it's my business. But seriously, if I would have moved here, I think I would have had the same question too. For my people who struggle with geography like I do sometimes, Mérida is in the Gulf of Mexico. The state is Yucatan, and it's about 3 to 4 hours away from Cancun. Mérida is being put on the map as one of the best cities for expats. Other than on a cruise, I never really explored Mexico prior to living here. The first half of 2022 really was kicking my butt. I mean, dragging your girl, edges snatched. I just was not in a good headspace. I was in a creative rut. I just didn't feel like myself, but I knew that I had a friend who was living in Mérida for pretty much the entirety of the pandemic, and she looked like she was thriving and healing and growing. So I'm like, let me go check out this city for a month. Yeah, a whole month. I have never lived or spent time away from my home that long. Like, everybody thought I was insane. They were like,
girl, they're gonna get you. They're gonna kidnap you. Do you know who the cartel is? Are you out of your mind?
My friends were worried. My family was worried. People that I engaged with and I told them that I was going to be moving to Mexico, they were like, okay, girl, why would you do that? I really had to give my folks the stats. Mérida is the second safest city in North America. Of course, I've watched the news. I have, heard things, but I also know what people say about Black folks, and I know what people say about Africa. I know what it's like to be misunderstood. I know what it's like for someone to believe something about your culture and it's inaccurate. So July 2022, I embarked on a month-long journey to really figure out what's going on with me, okay? How can we recharge this energy, especially my creative energy? And I was in for such a treat, y'all. This is the thing. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a small talk girl. I really just like to get straight to it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. What's your journey? And every conversation that I had while I was in Mérida was deep. Like, we just got straight to it. It had so much substance. And I was able to connect with multiple people while I was here. Most importantly, I was able to connect with myself. I spent a lot of time journaling. I spent a lot of time exploring, walking around, connecting with other folks, like I said. And 2 weeks in, I was invited to a cacao ceremony. Cacao is a really important plant in the Mayan culture, spiritually, physically, all of the above. And so during this ceremony, I was just hearing, you need to move here. Plain and simple. You need to get your stuff, pack it up.
Get your shit, and get out!
And I was like, okay. Like, I've learned to be pretty obedient to my inner voice or my spirit guides, the powers that be, God, universe. If you tell me move, I'm pretty much gonna do it now. If not, I knew I wasn't gonna get no rest. I know I wasn't gonna get no peace. So I said, okay, I guess. How? Okay, you said do, but how? Because I just don't know. I didn't have no job. I had no job, unemployed. But I knew I had to figure it out. The energy, I couldn't match it anywhere else. I couldn't beat the energy that I felt. I remember leaving out of my Airbnb and I was like, I need to go find some food. I'm just gonna walk until I find something that appeals to me. My Airbnb was in the mix, so it was downtown. There were quite a few people on the streets walking the sidewalks. I remember as soon as I started walking and people were walking slow in front of me, I was getting so frustrated. I wanted to push them out the way.
Move, bitch!
As, U.S. Americans, we know how to go, 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 go. These people are not like that. They said, I'll get there when I get there. And I realized that I was rushing to go nowhere. I said that I would set out and just stumble upon something. I had no time constraint. I wasn't meeting anybody. I wasn't starving. I just felt the need to move super fast, unnecessarily. And I really had to check myself. And when I learned a huge lesson like that, within my first week there, I was like, oh, something's here. Being invited to a spiritual ceremony something is here. It's such a spiritual place. It's such a healing place. And you know that immediately. I felt like my nervous system just noodle, okay? I feel like my body just was able to relax and recharge, like I said. Still unemployed though. But I felt so safe walking around, going to places by myself. And I'm like, this really is a different place. They move slow, they safe. All those things from the safety, the depth, the spiritual connection and recharging here, the healing vibes here. I was like, oh, I gotta move. But again, I don't have a job. I don't have a place to stay. So the whole time I'm in Mérida, like the month, I probably applied to 40 jobs. And when I tell you, I didn't even get an interview from any of them. I got 2 degrees and nobody gave a shit at all. Nobody cared, okay? The beautiful thing is that my friend that I told you about who was living here, she was transitioning out, moving to Houston. And she was like, I mean, if you really like it here, you could just take over my lease. Well, how much is the lease, sis? 7,000 pesos. 7,000 pesos? That's 350 US dollars. My mortgage back at the house is 13. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can figure that out. I can figure out a couple $100 a month. Okay. So I was like, okay, I can stay there, but who's gonna live in my house? Maybe we can figure that out. So what I did was overly ambitious. I really thought I was coming back in 30 days, but I did come back in 60. So within those 60 days, I went back to the US, after my month stay, and I started substitute teaching to stack my bread. And then I found somebody to rent out my house and make a little extra profit that ended up paying for my rent here. And right after I got here, my friend told me about a company that I could teach online for. And then I just started to develop clients for social media management. And there I go. The money started coming. The money started flowing. But I definitely did not have a job when I first got here. But I listened and I was obedient to what I was told I should do. And I am so grateful that I did. This has been a beautiful journey. A beautiful, beautiful journey that I couldn't have anticipated. If you would have told me in 2021, shit, maybe even 2022, that I was going to be living in Mexico, I would have laughed in your face. Ha, ha. Because who? Not me. Was not on my radar. To live abroad, yes, eventually, but definitely not thinking about Mexico. And everything just worked out. Everything worked out so well. So, friend, if you have any questions about my experience traveling, living abroad, please drop them in the comments so I can get back to you. And while you're at it, of course, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more content. All right, friend, bye.